It's not a surprising move, but it is a move worthy of discussing. The Minnesota Vikings have officially put Minnesota Vikings tight end TJ Hockenson on the PUP list, the IR list, or whatever it's called. So he will miss at least the first 4 weeks of the season. Throughout the entire training camp sessions, TJ Hockenson has been doing his own little field work on the side. No ear aches or back aches this season to hold out of training camp practice. He has been doing his own individual work on the side. And the reason why this isn't surprising is he tore his ACL and his MCL last year versus the Detroit Lions after a lot of people criticized the Detroit Lions safety, Kirby Joseph, after being dirty for going low on TJ Hockenson and other players throughout the NFL season. And TJ Hockenson was injured, and ever since he was injured, there was even a delay on his surgery, so people were thinking that he would take even longer to come back for the Minnesota Vikings this season, but he will be back this season for the Minnesota Vikings, and you should not be surprised because he was never going to start the season activated on the Minnesota Vikings 53-man roster. It takes a long time to come back from these injuries, as you all already know. And with the bye week early on in week 6 of the NFL season, you know, he's off and unavailable to play for the first 4 weeks of the season, but there's no chance he comes back to play before the bye week. It's unlikely, and the Minnesota Vikings are just holding out hope that TJ Hockenson will be ready to go by week 8 when the Minnesota Vikings come out of their bye week and face off versus the Detroit Lions. So he will be unavailable versus the Giants in week 1, the 49ers in week 2, the Texans in week 3, the Packers in week 4. Technically, he could come back versus the Jets in week 5, but he won't. So he will come back after the week 6 bye week for the Minnesota Vikings in week 7, hopefully versus the Detroit Lions. And this is going to be an important thing for the Minnesota Vikings if they can keep their head above water through the first 5 weeks of the season. If the Minnesota Vikings can get their act together for the first 5 weeks of the season and come out of that stretch 3-2, if you bring back TJ Hockenson, of course, even when you bring him back, he's still not going to be 100% full go. It's going to take time, and hopefully by midseason, he can be playing 100% of the snaps or whatever. But probably when he comes back, you'll see him in red zone situations. You'll see him on third downs, but it'll probably be a gradual process back into the Minnesota Vikings starting offensive lineup. So that's the plan for TJ Hockenson. Minnesota Vikings, TJ Hockenson. It's cut down day. Lots of news happening. Lots of things are being discussed, and lots of action is going on. So I will be back, I'm sure, later today to break down anything that is worthy of this day.